Hello, friends, and welcome back to Stories About Entitled People. You should be doing more for the business. The cry of the employer that wants the results of OT without having to pay OT. If you want people to do more than what's in the job description, you need to reevaluate the responsibilities of the position and/or adjust compensation justly. So here we go. I did all the work. This happened 20 plus years ago. I worked for the family business, repiping mobile homes. Because I wasn't married and didn't have kids, my buddy and I were the out-of-town crew. We traveled all over the state. A typical week would consist of 10 houses over 5 days, 2 a day, Monday through Friday. That was the requirement. 10 houses must be plumbed a week, no exceptions. We had a backlog of work. After my buddy got good, we could easily plumb 2 houses in 6 to 7 hours. The other crews typically took 10 hours for 2 houses. Since we were paid by the house, it didn't matter how fast or slow you were, so long as you did 10 houses a week. I've always hated working 5 days a week, so we decided each Monday morning to look at our work orders and rearrange the schedule so we did 2 houses Monday, travel time getting to the first job, 3 on Tuesday and Wednesday, then 2 on Thursday, leaving us all day Friday to sleep in, explore whatever town we were in, and enjoy a 3-day weekend. This went on for some time until my girlfriend wanted to go out of town for a 3-day weekend, so we finished Thursday, drive to the shop, dropped off my van, and left for the weekend. Friday afternoon, I get a call. It's the boss. Boss, where are you? Me. New York? Boss, obviously confused. New York? What do you mean? Me. I mean, I'm currently in New York City. What's up? Lots of confused questions and snarky answers back and forth. Boss, why did you cancel your Friday jobs? Is something wrong with your van? It's at the shop. Me, I didn't cancel any jobs. Boss, now more confused by how I did 10 jobs in 4 days than how I was in New York City without their knowledge. How did you do 10 jobs in 4 days? I decided it would be easiest to tell them I've been doing this for a while. Pissed, absolute fury that I'd been claiming my per diem and hotel while not working Fridays. Sunday night turns into a lecture of how I should be doing more for the business. I remind them we're the only crew that goes out of town. I'm told from here on out I'm doing 13 jobs a week. I ask if the other crews will be expected to do the same considering they all work locally. Nope, just me. So I plan the compliance. I tell my cousin to schedule our next week in the city furthest away, about a 5-hour job. We were normally only scheduled 9 jobs for that city as the first day took up so much time. No need to remind anyone of that, the number is 13 this week. So we head out on Monday. No changes, no tweaks, just do what's scheduled. Obviously, we can't do 2 on Monday, half our day was spent driving. It didn't help that we weren't exactly rushing, so around 4 we call the office and tell them to call the customer, we won't be able to get to them. The customer is furious and asks when they'll get rescheduled. No idea. Fast forward to Thursday. While finishing job number 10, we call the office and inform them we're out of material. No pipe, no fittings, no wholesale house to go to, nothing. Please tell the boss to bring us more. I get a call from the boss. Boss, what happened? Me, the van can only hold 10 jobs worth of material. That's the way you set it up. Boss, can't you go to X and get more pipe? Me, that's 2 hours each way. We'll have to cancel another job, plus they charge double what we pay in town. Boss, why didn't you say you couldn't do 13 jobs? Me, I did. You said I was being lazy. Boss, I thought you meant you didn't want to do 13 jobs, not that the truck couldn't hold enough material. Me, I didn't want to do 13, and you set the trucks up. It's your truck. Boss, unhappily, I'll meet you at your first job at 7 a.m. Me, with a smile you can hear over the phone, see you in the morning, boss. An exhausted boss drops off pipe and fittings at 7. Me, hey, do you want to help us knock out the Monday job we canceled, or do you want us to stay another night? Hotel, per diem. We went back to 10 jobs a week after that. This is why people avoid doing good work, because they get punished for it. And our second story. Customers get trapped in the store because the closing announcements didn't apply to them, I guess. I'm a cashier at a shop in the UK that sells clothing and home goods. For some reason, we've had a bit of an uptick in interesting customers ever since we reopened post-lockdown. so this one is probably my favorite so far. I tend to cover a lot of closing shifts, and a lot of the time, I get to do the announcements to let customers know the store is closing. At 7:45, 7:50, and 7:55, I say roughly, "This is a customer announcement. The time in shop is X, and we are closing in Y minutes. Can all remaining customers please make their way to the checkout so that we can finalize your purchases before we close? Thank you." And at 8, the announcement goes, "The time in shop is 8 o'clock, and we are now closed. Can any remaining customers please make their way to the checkout so we can finalize your purchases?" Basically, if you're in the shop after 7:45, it's pretty hard to miss the fact that we're in the process of closing up. On the day this incident occurred, all the shop floor colleagues got to leave right on the dot of 8 because they'd finished all their tasks for the night. So after we closed, there were only 3 of us in the shop: me, my supervisor on checkouts, Sarah, and my colleague, M, who was acting as the manager on shift. After I did the last closing announcement, we waited a couple of minutes in case any more customers appeared, finished cashing up the tills, and then Megan locked up the shop and went to the cash office, while Sarah and I went to the warehouse to do some jobs there. By this point, we'd been closed for about 5 to 10 minutes. Sarah and I have been in the warehouse for a couple of minutes sorting out returns when suddenly the warehouse door, which doesn't lock so people can get in and out easily with heavy cages, flies open, and a customer, accompanied by her 8-year-old son, pokes her head in. I'm like, hello? Because frankly, my brain is refusing to process this situation a little bit, and the customer, honestly, less stressed than I would be in this situation, goes, "Can somebody let us out, please?" I call over to Sarah, who's further back in the warehouse, and she asks me to call M, who has the keys and can let them out. The only phone that the cashiers have access to is at the checkouts on the other side of the shop, and I don't really want the customers to wander off again, so I go, "Okay, if you just follow me over to the checkouts, I'm going to call my manager on shift so that she can let you out." And the customer's face lights up, and she goes, "Oh, are the tills still open?" Please bear in mind, it's 10 minutes after closing. This woman is actively trapped in the store. The shutters are down. There's been nobody on the shop floor, let alone at the checkouts, for several minutes. She had to go into an employee-only area to get help, and now she thinks the checkouts are open and she can buy something? At this point, I feel no obligation to be polite, and I'm honestly also just baffled, so I go, "No. There were actually several announcements letting you know the store was closing." "Oh, I know," she says. And at this point, I feel such a boiling rage overtake me that all I can do without getting myself in trouble is shut up and walk over to the phone. The story wraps up pretty quickly after that. I call Megan, whose verbatim response to "Hi, there's some customers stuck in the store" is, "Oh, for F's sake." Megan lets them out, but not without also locking herself out of the cash office because she didn't bring the keys out with her in the rush to let these customers out. And I lie awake at night wondering how on earth I can make "we are closed, either come and pay now or get out of the store" into a polite and professional closing announcement for future use. Always walk the store before you lock up. Why? Because of idiots like this person. And our next story. Haven't been a member for years, but I'm going to cast my vote to prevent them from making it mandatory. I bought my house in this former retirement community just over 10 years ago, and at the time the HOA was voluntary. It's the kind of neighborhood where there are 5 to 6 subdivisions of 200 to 300 houses, each act independently, but they're all the same, just with a different name. The HOA is $55 a month and covers irrigation and access to the community pool. The trouble is it rains a lot here, and we're literally within walking distance of a water park where you can get an annual pass for something like $20 a month. I water my yard maybe 10 times over the course of each winter, and my yard is just as green and lush as every other. Well, I've been flagged down by 3 neighbors in the last 2 days to be told I need to cast my vote. Evidently, the HOA runners are upset at such low participation. Something like 115 out of 300 houses are members, and so they just decided the first step was to increase dues to $65, with the next step to be making membership mandatory and increase dues again to $75 with no change in benefits. They actually cut off the irrigation because they claim they can't afford it anymore. Their claim is that they've been running the HOA at a loss for years and are out of options. I'd honestly rather they bulldoze the clubhouse and sell the property. Now, I generally don't like HOAs. I've seen some of these posts, and I'm just generally of the opinion that whatever benefits an HOA can offer are outweighed by the risks and can be attained by myself without the middleman. I've only had one run-in with my HOA when I mentioned getting a new roof to my neighbor, and the HOA czar, or whatever title, was there and said to make sure I get whatever tile color approved prior to ordering. I looked him dead in the eyes and said, "I'll pick out whatever the F I want, and I dare you to try to do something about it." This was a guy I'd never said a word to before, warning me about picking out a pink roof. Anyways, I figured you guys may appreciate my thinking of future residents and going to cast my vote to prevent them from trapping future homeowners in their HOA. F them. And our last story. Entitled Nanny tried to kidnap me and my friend. Brief intro. When I was little, I used to visit this friend of mine very often, both because I loved playing with them and because my parents weren't at home most of the time because of work. This friend of mine had a nanny that had to look after them and also had to do some chores like cleaning, cooking for them, and help them do their homework. The problem with her, we'll call her Evil Nanny, was the fact that she wouldn't always do those things and rather sit on the couch and watch movies and stay on her phone. So my friend wouldn't always do their homework, and because of that, they didn't have very good grades, and their parents, we'll call them FP, were quite concerned about it. But when they asked Evil Nanny about it, she'd say that she tried to make them study, but they simply wouldn't listen to her. My friend's parents believed in the first place, but after some time, they started noticing that she wasn't doing the other things she had to do and started considering firing her. She remained with my friend for another month or so before things went the wrong way, and she found out that FP were going to fire her. My friend and I were in their room watching a movie when suddenly we heard Evil Nanny screaming that they couldn't fire her and that she always had done the chores and everything she was asked to do. But she didn't know that my friend told them otherwise. But when FP told Evil Nanny that they knew she was lying, she rushed to the room where my friend and I were and locked the door, and when FP arrived, the following conversation occurred. Note, I was 6 when it happened, so I don't remember everything in detail. "Evil Nanny, what are you doing? I'm going to take her away. You don't deserve her. I'm the one who raised her, so she's better off with me than with you. If you don't let me go with her and her friend, I'll call CPS and tell them that you took her from me." Yeah, she really said that. "I'm calling the police if you won't leave this house right now. You can call whoever you want, you son of a bee. I'm not leaving." FP proceeds to call the police and tell them what's happened. At this point, both me and my friend were terrified. But when the police arrived and FP went outside to talk to them, Evil Nanny unlocked the door, grabbed me and my friend by an arm, and dragged us to the garage where her car was. She then made us get in the back seat and tried to drive off, but luckily one of the police cars was parked in front of the garage door so she couldn't escape. And after that, she got dragged outside of the car. Evil Nanny got arrested and sentenced to 5 years in jail and 10 more of probation, plus she had to pay 4,500 euros to FP, which FP saved for my friend's college fund. But after they got a new nanny who helped her with her studies, she got a full-ride scholarship and used the money to buy a scooter. To this day, we're big friends and we work for an international transport company. Hey guys, thank you all for watching the video. I'll see you in the next one.